Amma Mensa realized she had made a mistake. The moment her phone vibrated. It was nearly midnight. Her apartment was quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of traffic outside her window. She stood in her small kitchen, barefoot, one hand wrapped around a chipped mug of tea that had already gone cold. Her phone buzzed again. She frowned and picked it up. "You shouldn't have sent that." Amma's chest tightened. She scrolled up. The message was still there. A voice note. Her voice. Tired. Unfiltered. Too honest. She had meant to send it to her best friend. A late-night rant after another long day. In the voice note she had said, "I'm exhausted. I'm tired of working twice as hard just to be ignored. I'm tired of men with power acting like they can crush anyone beneath them. Sometimes I feel like this world only listens to dangerous people." Amma's stomach dropped. Her fingers moved quickly. "I'm sorry. Wrong number." The reply came instantly. "No. You meant every word." Her breath caught. She stared at the screen, heart pounding. Another message appeared. "You just didn't mean to send it to me." Amma swallowed. The mug slipped from her hand and splashed onto the counter. But she barely noticed. "Please delete it." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Then appeared again. "Tell me, Amma Mensa." Her pulse thundered in her ears. "Who made you feel that powerless?" Her name. He knew her name. The kitchen suddenly felt too small. Too quiet. Amma backed away from the counter, her mind racing. "How do you know my name?" The reply took longer this time. Too long. "Because people like me don't receive messages by accident." Her hands began to shake. Amma blocked the number, deleted the chat, turned off her phone, and stood there in the dark, trying to convince herself she hadn't just crossed into something dangerous. But one question refused to leave her mind. What kind of man knows your name and speaks like he owns the silence around you? Amma Mensa's life was ordinary in a way that felt heavy. She was 28 years old. A black African woman who learned early that independence was not optional, it was survival. Her apartment was small but clean. Second-hand furniture. Neutral colors chosen because bright ones felt like promises she couldn't keep. Every morning, she woke before the sun. Instant coffee. Toast if she remembered to buy bread. A crowded bus ride where no one made eye contact. Amma worked as an administrative assistant at a logistics company downtown. She was good at her job. Too good. The kind of good that made people rely on you, but never promote you. She caught mistakes before they cost money. Remembered schedules no one else bothered to track. Smoothed conflicts between departments. In meetings, she spoke clearly and confidently. And still, her ideas were often ignored. Until a man repeated them 5 minutes later. Amma didn't argue loudly. She corrected things calmly. That was her strength. She had boundaries. She didn't flirt to get ahead. Didn't soften herself to be liked. She had learned the hard way that being agreeable did not mean being safe. After work, she usually went straight home. Not because she was boring, but because peace was expensive, and she guarded it carefully. That night, after blocking the number, she told herself it was over. Just a wrong message. Just a stranger. She slept poorly, but she slept. The next morning, she showered, dressed, and left for work. Life continued. Until her phone vibrated again. Amma stood at the bus stop, coat pulled tight against the cold. People around her scrolled on their phones, laughed softly, complained about traffic. Her phone buzzed in her hand. She hesitated, then opened it. "Blocking me doesn't erase what you said." Her breath caught. She looked around instinctively. No one was watching her. "Stop contacting me." The reply came immediately. "I don't stop things once they begin." Her chest tightened. This wasn't playful. It felt deliberate. "Who are you?" The response took longer this time, as if the sender were choosing each word carefully. "Someone who heard you when you spoke the truth." Amma's jaw clenched. She didn't reply. She boarded the bus. At work, she kept her phone face down, focused on emails, schedules, deadlines. By lunch, she almost believed it was over. It wasn't. The following day, there were no messages. Amma exhaled for the first time in hours. That evening, she cooked rice and stew, sat on the couch, and watched a show she barely followed. Her phone stayed silent. She slept better. And then she came home the next evening and saw the envelope. It sat on her kitchen counter, perfectly placed, centered, as if someone had taken time to make sure she would notice it immediately. Amma froze in the doorway. Her bag slid from her shoulder and hit the floor. She hadn't left anything there. She lived alone. Slowly she stepped forward. The envelope was thick, cream-colored, her name written in neat, deliberate handwriting. No stamp. No return address. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Inside was not a letter. It was a phone. Heavy. Already turned on. The screen lit up the moment she touched it. Incoming call. Her heart pounded so hard she could hear it. Every instinct told her not to answer. But something stubborn and angry refused to let fear decide for her. She pressed accept. A man's voice filled the room. Controlled. Good evening, Amma Mensa. Her throat went dry. You shouldn't be here. A soft exhale answered her. I rarely am. That has never stopped me. Who are you? Silence. Not uncertainty. Power. My name is Kang Jun-suk. The way he said it made her chest tighten. She didn't know how she knew. But she understood instantly. This was not a name spoken lightly. I don't want any trouble. You already found it. Her hand tightened around the phone. You sent me your thoughts. Unfiltered. Honest. Most people lie to me, he continued. They beg. They hide. You didn't. She closed her eyes. I made a mistake. Yes, he said calmly. And mistakes reveal things. Her legs weakened. What do you want? The pause. I want to see you. Her eyes snapped open. No. A quiet chuckle. You will, Kang Jun-suk said. Because now you are already connected to me. That's not how this works. It is in my world. The line went silent. The screen went dark. Amma slid into a chair, heart racing. Because she knew something had changed. This was no longer a misunderstanding. No longer a wrong number. It was a crossing. And whatever waited on the other side was powerful, deliberate, and had chosen her. One exhausted voice note. One honest moment. One small mistake. And a man who did not believe in accidents. Amma did not sleep that night. Every sound in her apartment felt louder than usual. The click of the radiator. Footsteps from the unit above her. The soft buzz of her phone when it lit up with nothing at all. She checked the locks twice. Then a third time. The phone he had sent sat on her kitchen table, dark and silent. She had turned it off, removed the battery, and still she felt like it was watching her. By morning, exhaustion pressed behind her eyes like a weight. She dressed for work on autopilot. Neutral blouse. Black trousers. Hair pulled back neatly. Normal armor. She told herself she would go to the police. She told herself that as she left her apartment. She told herself that as she stood at the bus stop. She told herself that as she sat at her desk, staring at a screen without really seeing it. And then the phone rang. Not her personal phone. The one from the envelope. It rang inside her bag. Twice. Her chest tightened. She stood so fast her chair scraped loudly against the floor. Colleagues glanced up, annoyed, curious. Amma forced a calm smile and walked quickly toward the stairwell. She didn't answer until the door closed behind her. Yes, she said breathless. You're late, his voice replied. Her stomach dropped. We never set a time, she said. The pause. Then, we set an expectation. Amma leaned against the cold concrete wall. You said you wanted to see me, she said carefully. That doesn't mean I agreed. Another pause. Longer. You came to work today, he said. That tells me you want your life to stay intact. Her pulse spiked. How do you know where I am? She asked. I know where you've been all morning, he replied calmly. Her fingers tightened around the phone. This ends now, she said. I didn't ask to be part of anything you're involved in. You asked, he said softly, when you spoke to me like I was human. Silence stretched. Then he spoke again. Leave work at 6. Her heart skipped. No, she said immediately. You will, he replied. A black car will be waiting outside your building. I'm not getting into a stranger's car. You won't be a stranger for long. The line went dead. Amma stood there, breathing hard. Her legs felt weak. She returned to her desk and tried to work, but the numbers blurred. Every email felt meaningless. At 5:45, she packed her bag. At 5:50, she considered staying late. At 5:58, her phone buzzed again. 1 minute. Her chest tightened. At 6 sharp, she stepped outside. The car was impossible to miss. But polished. Too expensive for her street. The driver stood beside it, tall and silent, opening the back door without a word. Amma hesitated. Every instinct screamed at her to run. But run where? She got in. The door closed with a final, heavy sound. The city moved past the window as the car pulled away. No music. No conversation. Just the quiet hum of power. They drove longer than she expected. Out of familiar streets. Into neighborhoods she had only seen from a distance. The car slowed in front of a private building with tinted windows and guarded doors. Her breath caught. The driver stepped out and opened her door. This way, he said politely. Inside, the air was cool and smelled faintly of wood and something expensive she couldn't name. They moved through a private elevator. The doors opened into a wide, silent space. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Soft lighting. Minimalist furniture that looked untouched. And him. He stood near the window, hands in his pockets, back to her. So, when he turned, Amma understood immediately why people feared him. Not because he looked angry. Because he looked calm. Kang Jun-suk, she said quietly. His gaze settled on her. Focused. Amma Mensa, he replied. She straightened her shoulders. I don't know why I'm here, she said. But I want this to end. He studied her for a long moment. You're braver than most, he said. Or more stubborn. I won't be intimidated, she said. A faint smile touched his mouth. That's why you're here. He gestured to the seat across from him. She didn't sit. I didn't agree to anything, she said. No, he said calmly. But you will. Her jaw tightened. You don't own me, she said. No, he agreed. But I can protect you. I don't need protection. You already do. She laughed, sharp and humorless. From you. He stepped closer. Not threatening. Not hurried. Just enough that she could feel the space between them disappear. From what happens when powerful men misunderstand your honesty, he said quietly. Her breath caught. I didn't misunderstand you, he continued. I recognized you. She met his gaze, refusing to look away. What do you want? She asked again. He held her eyes. Temporary proximity, he said. Mutual benefit. And if I say no? His expression didn't change. Then I stop shielding you. A chill ran through her. From what? She asked. From the consequences of being noticed. Silence filled the room. Amma understood then. This was not a meeting. It was a warning. And a choice. She didn't answer. Not yet. Because she knew whatever she said next would change her life completely. And Kang Jun-suk was watching her. Like a man who already knew the outcome. Amma did not sit down. She remained standing where she was. Arms at her sides, spine straight, refusing to shrink in a room designed to make people feel small. Kang Jun-suk watched her without speaking. The silence stretched. It was not uncomfortable for him. It was deliberate. You brought me here without my consent, Amma said finally. You threatened me without saying the word. And now you're offering protection from dangers you won't name. She met his eyes. That's not a choice. That's coercion. Something flickered across his expression. Not anger. Interest. Most people would already be pleading, he said. You're negotiating. I'm setting boundaries, she replied. There's a difference. He inclined his head slightly. Then let me be clear. He walked back toward the window, looking out over the city. The message you sent me reached a device that is not supposed to receive personal communication. It bypassed systems designed to prevent exactly that. Amma's heart sank. That should tell you something. She swallowed. It tells me you're powerful, she said. And careful. Yes, he agreed. And it tells me that once something touches my world, it does not simply walk away unchanged. She took a slow breath. I don't want to be part of your world, she said. I know, he replied. That's why you're vulnerable. She clenched her jaw. Then say it, she said. Say what you're really asking. He turned to face her again. Stay where I can see you, Kang Jun-suk said. For a limited time. Her chest tightened. Stay how, she asked. Visible, he replied. Accessible. Under my protection. And what does that cost me? She asked. He didn't hesitate. Your anonymity. Her hands curled into fists. I didn't agree to be watched. You already are, he said calmly. I'm offering control over how. She laughed softly, disbelief cutting through her fear. You're asking me to trust you, she said. After stalking me. I'm asking you to survive, he corrected. With dignity. She shook her head. I don't believe you do anything out of kindness. The pause. Then quietly. No, he said. I don't. She waited. I do things because they make sense, he continued. And because I choose them. She studied his face. There was no desperation there. No neediness. Only certainty. What do you get out of this? She asked. His gaze sharpened. You, he said simply. Not possession. Not hunger. Recognition. Her breath caught despite herself. That's not an answer, she said. It is, he replied. You spoke to me like I was human. Not like a monster. Not like a god. She swallowed. That has consequences, he added. Everything does, she said. Another silence. Then he gestured toward the seating area. Sit, he said. Please. She hesitated. Then sat. The chair was too comfortable. That unsettled her more than anything else. I'm not asking you to become anything, Kang Jun-suk said. You will not owe me affection. You will not perform obedience. She raised an eyebrow. And yet, he continued, you will stay in a residence I choose. You will accept security. You will inform me before you move freely. Her chest tightened. That's not freedom, she said. It's survival, he replied. For how long? She asked. A few months, he said. Until matters stabilize. And if I refuse? She asked quietly. He looked at her for a long moment. Then I step away, he said. And whatever notices you next will not be patient. A chill settled in her bones. You're threatening me again, she said. No, he replied. I'm being honest. She leaned back, breathing slowly. Her mind raced. Police would not protect her from a shadow she couldn't name. Friends would not believe her. Running would only make her visible in the wrong ways. She looked at him. At any point, she said, if I decide this is no longer safe for me, you leave, he finished. No pursuit. No punishment. She searched his face for deception. Found none. And if I expose you? She asked. A faint smile appeared. Then you disappear, he said calmly. Not because I want you to. Because my enemies won't allow it. Her stomach twisted. She looked away. The city stretched endlessly outside the windows. So I trade one danger for another, she said. Yes, he replied. But this one chooses you. She closed her eyes. Thought of her small apartment. Her quiet routines. Her fragile peace. Then she thought of the envelope. The phone. The way he had known where she was without asking. She opened her eyes. What happens if I agree? She asked. His gaze softened, just a fraction. Then nothing touches you without going through me. Her voice came out barely above a whisper. And if I don't? His voice remained steady. Then I let go. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Amma inhaled, exhaled, and nodded. I'll stay, she said. Temporarily. Kang Jun-suk did not smile. But something in his posture shifted. Good, he said. Then there are rules. Her chest tightened again. Of course there were. First, he said, you will not disappear without telling me. I won't be imprisoned, she said immediately. You won't, he replied. You will be protected. She stood. I don't belong to you, she said firmly. No, he agreed. You belong to yourself. Their eyes held. And that, he added quietly, is why this will work. Amma turned toward the exit. As the door closed behind her, she felt it. The moment. The one she would remember later. The moment her old life ended. Not with chaos, but with a calm decision. She could never undo. She had stepped into his world. And the door had closed behind her. Amma expected to be taken home. Instead, she was taken somewhere else. The car ride was quiet. Not the tense quiet of fear, but the controlled silence of people who were trained not to speak unless necessary. She watched the city change through the tinted window. Familiar streets disappeared. The buildings grew taller, cleaner, more distant. When the car finally stopped, Amma felt it before she saw it. The stillness. This place did not buzz with traffic or noise. It existed apart from the city, as if the world had learned not to intrude here. The driver opened her door. She stepped out slowly. The building rose in front of her. Sleek and modern, glass and stone blending into something intimidatingly beautiful. This is temporary, she said aloud, mostly to herself. No one answered. Inside, everything was quiet. Too quiet. The floors reflected light without a single scuff. The air smelled clean, expensive, untouched. Amma felt suddenly aware of her shoes. Her coat. The fact that she did not belong here. An elevator took her up. When the doors opened, she found herself standing inside a private residence. Not an apartment. A space. Wide windows. Soft lighting. Furniture arranged with intention rather than comfort. This will be your floor, one of the men said politely. My floor, Amma repeated. Yes. She walked slowly, taking it in. A living area. A kitchen larger than her entire apartment. A bedroom with a view that made her chest tighten. This isn't necessary, she said quietly. It is, the man replied. For security. Security from what? She asked. He hesitated. From attention, he said finally. He handed her a slim device. Emergency contact, he explained. One press. Immediate response. She took it, weighing it in her palm. How many people are watching me right now? She asked. The man met her eyes. Enough to keep you safe. She exhaled. When he left, the door locked softly behind him. Amma stood alone. She walked to the window and looked out. The city stretched endlessly below. So far away. She felt suspended. Not trapped. Not free. Her phone buzzed. The special phone. She answered without speaking. Are you comfortable? Kang Jun-suk asked. No, she replied honestly. The pause. Good, he said. Comfort breeds carelessness. She turned away from the window. You could have put me anywhere, she said. You chose this. Yes. Why? Because it keeps you separate, he replied. From me. That surprised her. I thought proximity was the point, she said. Visibility, he corrected. Not possession. She sat on the edge of the couch. What are the rules? She asked. Another pause. Then he spoke clearly. You will not leave without informing security. You will not share this location. You will not answer unknown calls. She frowned. And my job? You will continue working, he said. Normalcy matters. And my privacy? A longer pause. You will have more than most, he said. And less than you're used to. She closed her eyes briefly. This feels like a cage, she said. Yes, he replied calmly. But it's a golden one. Her jaw tightened. I didn't agree to be controlled. You agreed to be protected, he said. This is the cost. She said nothing. You can refuse, he added. She opened her eyes. And then, silence. That was answer enough. Days passed. Amma settled into a rhythm she hadn't chosen. Mornings began with quiet efficiency. A car waiting. A driver who never spoke unless spoken to. At work, everything looked the same. But it wasn't. She noticed men she hadn't noticed before. Cars that seemed to appear too often. Once, she caught a glimpse of someone across the street, watching. The man vanished when she looked again. Her stomach twisted. At night, she returned to the residence. Always unlocked for her. Always empty. Too empty. She cooked once. The kitchen intimidated her. She ordered food instead. Luxury felt strange when you hadn't earned it. She explored cautiously. There were cameras. Hidden well. But not well enough. She didn't touch them. Didn't test them. She didn't want to know what would happen if she did. One evening, she found Kang Jun-suk waiting. Not in the main living area. In the kitchen. He stood near the counter, sleeves rolled up, as if he belonged there. She stopped short. "You didn't say you were coming," she said. "I didn't ask," he replied. Her shoulders tensed. "This is my space," she said. He met her gaze. "It's protected space," he corrected. She set her bag down slowly. "You said you wouldn't monitor me constantly." "I don't," he replied. "I observe patterns." "That's not better." A faint hint of amusement touched his eyes. "You're adapting," he said. "Faster than I expected." "I don't have a choice," she said. "You always have a choice," he replied. "You just don't like the options." She crossed her arms. "Why me?" she asked suddenly. He studied her. "You don't bend," he said. "Even when bending would be safer." She scoffed softly. "That's not a compliment." "It is in my world." She hesitated. "And what happens when your world gets bored of me?" she asked. His expression sharpened. "That won't happen." "You don't know that," she said. "I do," he replied quietly. Silence settled between them. Not heavy. Not comfortable. "Sure. I don't belong here," Amma said. "No," he agreed. "But you fit." She laughed softly, disbelief threaded with something else. "That's dangerous," she said. "Yes," he replied. "It is." He stepped back. "You should rest," he said. "Tomorrow will be more complicated." When he left, the space felt different. Less empty. More watched. Amma lay in bed that night staring at the ceiling. The sheets were soft. The silence deep. Safety wrapped around her like something heavy. She realized then what unsettled her the most. Not the rules. Not the surveillance. But the fact that for the first time in her life, she felt protected. And protection, in the wrong hands, could become something far more dangerous than fear. She turned onto her side, wondering how long it would take before safety started to feel like a debt, and whether Kang Jun-suk would ever ask her to pay it. The first sign that something had shifted was the silence. Not the calm, controlled silence Amma had grown used to, but the kind that felt strained, tight. She noticed it in the way security responded faster than usual, in the way the driver's eyes lingered in the mirror, in the way Kang Jun-suk stopped calling. Days passed without his voice. Amma told herself that was a good thing. She focused on routine. Commutes. Evenings spent alone in a space that still didn't feel like hers. But the sense of being watched sharpened. Not protected. One evening, as she stepped out of the office building, she felt it clearly for the first time. That prickle at the back of her neck. She slowed. So did the footsteps behind her. Her heart began to pound. She didn't turn around. The car pulled up quickly, door opening before she reached it. "Get in," the driver said quietly. She did. The door shut. Only when the car pulled away did she breathe again. That night, Kang Jun-suk finally called. "Did anything unusual happen today?" he asked. His voice was calm. But underneath it, something else moved. "Yes," Amma replied. "Someone followed me." Silence. "How close?" he asked. "Close enough that I felt it," she said. Another pause. "Did they speak to you?" "No." "Did you see them?" "No." The silence stretched longer. "That's not good," he said finally. Her chest tightened. "You told me you would protect me," she said. "I am," he replied. "But protection doesn't mean invisibility." She leaned against the counter. "Then what does it mean?" she asked. "It means someone is testing boundaries," he said. And I need to know who. The next morning, Amma didn't go to work. She wasn't told not to. She simply woke up to find the car already waiting. No office today, the driver said. She didn't argue. They took her somewhere different. A building less polished than Kang Jun-suk's residence, but heavier. The kind of place that held secrets in its walls. Inside, men spoke quietly into devices. Screens displayed maps, footage, information she wasn't meant to understand. Kang Jun-suk stood at the center of it all. When he saw her, his focus sharpened. "You're safe," he said. "That wasn't my question," she replied. He studied her. "You were noticed," he said. "That was inevitable." "By who?" she asked. "Someone who doesn't like my attention divided," he replied. She folded her arms. "So this is about you," she said. His jaw tightened slightly. "Everything around me becomes about me," he said. "That's the cost of power." "And I'm paying it," she said. "Yes," he said. "And so are they." She watched him closely. "This isn't just business rivalry," she said. "This feels personal." "It is now," he replied. He dismissed the others with a glance. When they were alone, he turned to her. "You should leave the city," he said. Her breath caught. "No," she said immediately. "This isn't a suggestion." "You said I could walk away," she replied. "I said you could leave," he corrected. "Not disappear." She shook her head. "I won't run because someone else is threatened by your choices." He stepped closer. "This isn't about pride," he said quietly. "It's about survival." "I've survived my whole life without you," she said. His gaze hardened. "And that's exactly why they'll use you." The words landed heavily. "Use me how?" she asked. "To reach me," he said. Fear curled in her stomach. "They won't hurt you," he continued. "Not yet." "Not yet," she repeated. "They want to see how far I'll go." "And how far will you go?" she asked. His eyes held hers. "As far as necessary." The answer chilled her. That night she barely slept. Every sound felt amplified. Every shadow stretched too long. She realized something then. This wasn't about romance. It wasn't even about power. It was about territory. And she had become contested ground. The next day it happened. Amma was returning from a short walk within the secured perimeter. When the world fractured, a hand grabbed her arm. She stumbled, heart slamming against her ribs. A voice hissed in her ear. "Don't scream." Her body went cold. She didn't scream. She didn't fight. She remembered Kang Jun-suk's voice. "Stay alive first." The grip tightened. Gunfire. Shouting. The hand released her. She fell, hitting the ground hard. Men moved fast. Too fast. Security surrounded her, lifting her, shielding her. Someone pressed her head against their chest. "Eyes down," a voice said. She obeyed. When it was over, her hands were shaking uncontrollably. Kang Jun-suk arrived minutes later. When he saw her, something broke through his composure. He crossed the distance in seconds, gripping her shoulders. "Are you hurt?" he asked. She shook her head. Her voice wouldn't come. He pulled her into him without hesitation. No audience. No restraint. Just instinct. She stood frozen against his chest. Heart racing. Breath uneven. He didn't let go immediately. When he finally did, his hands lingered briefly, as if reassuring himself she was real. "That shouldn't have happened," he said quietly. "But it did," she replied. His jaw tightened. "This ends now," he said. "For who?" she asked. "For anyone who thinks you're a weakness," he replied. She looked at him. "And what if I am?" she asked softly. He met her gaze. "Then you're the one thing worth protecting." Silence stretched between them. Heavy. Unavoidable. Amma understood then. This wasn't a warning anymore. It was war. And she was no longer just under his protection. She was the reason for it. Amma did not stop shaking until long after the doors were locked. She sat on the edge of the bed, hands clenched together, staring at nothing while the room hummed softly around her. The space that once felt distant and quiet now felt like a bunker. And fragile. Someone knocked gently. She flinched. It's me, Kang Jun-suk said. She didn't answer, but the door opened anyway. He stepped inside slowly, as if approaching a skittish animal. His jacket was gone. His sleeves were rolled up. There was blood on his cuff. Not hers. Her chest tightened. Sit, he said softly. She didn't move. I'm fine, she said, though her voice betrayed her. I didn't ask if you were fine, he replied. I asked you to sit. Something in his tone made her obey. He crouched in front of her, not touching her, just close enough that she could feel his presence. His eyes moved over her face, her hands, the line of her jaw. They didn't touch you? He asked. No. They didn't speak again? No. He exhaled slowly. They wanted to see how I'd react, he said. Now they know. She swallowed. What happens next? She asked. He hesitated. That scared her more than any answer. Next, he said, I remove the threat. Her fingers tightened together. You say that like it's simple. It isn't, he replied. But it's necessary. She looked at him then. Really looked. For the first time, she saw the cost behind the control. The tension that never left his body. The restraint that looked like calm because it had learned to hide everything else. You're angry, she said quietly. Yes. But not with me. No. She nodded. That's new, she said. He looked up at her. I don't get angry about people I don't care about, he said. The words settled between them. Heavy. Unavoidable. She inhaled shakily. You didn't ask if I was scared, she said. He stood slowly. Because I already know you are, he replied. And because fear isn't weakness. She laughed softly, a sound close to breaking. I almost believed I could handle this, she said. I told myself I wasn't fragile. You're not, he said immediately. You were grabbed, she said. Pulled. Treated like leverage. His jaw tightened. That won't happen again. You can't promise that, she said. No, he agreed. But I can make it unlikely. Silence stretched. Then she asked the question she had been holding back. How many people have died because of me? He didn't answer right away. That was answer enough. Her stomach turned. I never wanted this, she whispered. I know, he said. Then why won't you let me go? She asked. His gaze held hers. Because letting you go would be abandoning you, he said. And I don't do that. Her chest ached. That's not protection, she said. That's attachment. Yes, he replied. The word landed like a confession. She stood abruptly and moved toward the window, wrapping her arms around herself. You don't even know me, she said. I know enough, he replied. You know fragments, she said. Moments. I know you didn't scream, he said. I know you stayed alive. She closed her eyes. That's not knowing me. I know you challenge me, he continued. I know you don't ask for things you don't deserve. She turned back to him. You sound like you're trying to convince yourself, she said. Maybe, he admitted. She laughed softly again, but this time it carried no humor. This is the part where things get messy, she said. Yes, he agreed. It is. Days passed. Security tightened. Routes changed. Amma stopped leaving the residence altogether. At first, she hated it. Then she adapted. That scared her. She spent hours reading by the window, watching the city from above. She cooked more often. Learned the space. Learned the silence. Kang Jun-suk came and went. Sometimes she wouldn't see him for a day. Sometimes he would appear late at night, presence filling the room without a word. They spoke more then. Not about threats. About nothing. And everything. He asked her about her childhood. Her mother's laugh. The way she learned early not to rely on anyone. She asked him nothing at first. Then one night she did. Do you sleep? She asked quietly. He paused. Yes, he said. Sometimes. Do you dream? She asked. He hesitated. No, he said. I remember. She didn't push. She noticed the way he relaxed slightly when she was calm. How his eyes tracked the room even when he was listening to her. How he always positioned himself between her and the door without thinking. One night, after a particularly long silence, she spoke. "If I'm your weakness," she said, "you should let me go." He looked at her sharply. "You're not my weakness," he said. "Then what am I?" she asked. His voice was quiet when he answered. "You're my line." She didn't ask what that meant. She already knew. The breaking point came without warning. An internal betrayal. One of his own. The alert came just before dawn. Amma woke to movement, voices, urgency. The door opened and Kang Jun-suk was there, already armed. "Get up," he said. "Now." Her heart pounded. "What's happening?" "Someone sold information," he said. "They know you're here." Fear flooded her veins. "You said this place was secure." "It was," he replied. "Until it wasn't." She grabbed a jacket as he pulled her toward the elevator. Gunfire echoed somewhere below. Her breath came fast and shallow. "Stay with me," he said firmly. "I am," she replied. The elevator descended too slowly. Her hand trembled. He took it. Just once. Grounding. When the doors opened, chaos waited. Men moved fast. Shouting. Orders barked. Smoke filled the air. A shot rang out too close. Amma ducked instinctively. Kang Jun-suk shielded her completely, body turning, arm around her shoulders. They ran. The exit was almost in sight when everything went wrong. A figure stepped out. A gun raised. Amma felt the moment stretch. She didn't think. She moved. The gun went off. Pain exploded in her side. She screamed. The world tilted. She felt herself falling, hands scrambling for something solid. Kang Jun-suk caught her before she hit the ground. Blood spread across her clothes. "No," he said sharply. "No." She gasped. "I'm okay," she tried to say. She wasn't. He pressed his hand against her wound, eyes wild in a way she had never seen. "Stay awake," he ordered. "Amma, stay with me." She focused on his face. "I told you," she whispered. "Messy." His jaw clenched. "If you die," he said, voice breaking, "I burn everything." She tried to smile. "Dramatic," she breathed. He shook his head. "Necessary." Sirens wailed in the distance. Everything blurred. The last thing she felt before the darkness took her was his forehead pressed to hers, and the realization that whatever this was between them had crossed the point of return. Amma woke to silence. Not the heavy, watched silence she had grown used to, but something softer. White light filtered through half-drawn curtains. The steady rhythm of a monitor hummed nearby. Pain throbbed faintly at her side, distant but real. She tried to move. A hand tightened gently around hers. She turned her head. Kang Jun-suk sat beside the bed, jacket discarded, posture rigid as if he had not moved in hours. His eyes were fixed on her face, dark and unblinking. "You're awake," he said. His voice was calm. Too calm. "How bad is it?" she asked. "You'll recover," he replied. The bullet missed anything vital. She exhaled slowly. "Lucky," she murmured. "No," he said quietly. "Prepared." She studied him. There were shadows under his eyes. Dried blood on his knuckles that wasn't hers. "You stayed," she said. "Yes." "For how long?" "As long as it takes." She closed her eyes briefly. When she opened them again, she asked the question that mattered. "Did anyone else get hurt because of me?" His jaw tightened. "The man who sold the information is dead," he said. "The ones who ordered the hit are no longer capable of doing it again." She absorbed that. "And innocent people?" "No." Relief loosened something in her chest. "Good," she said. "I don't want to be the reason the wrong people suffer." His gaze softened. "You were never the reason," he said. "You were the excuse." She was quiet for a long moment. "Is it over?" she asked. He hesitated. "Nothing like this is ever truly over," he said. "But it's contained." "And me?" she asked. "What happens to me now?" He stood slowly, as if choosing every movement with care. "You heal," he said. "Then you decide." Her brow furrowed. "Decide what?" "Whether you want to stay connected to my world," he replied. "Or walk away from it." Her heart stuttered. "You'd let me leave," she said. "Yes." "No tracking," she said. "No protection I didn't ask for." "Yes." "No consequences." "Yes." She searched his face. "And you?" she asked. "What happens to you?" The pause. "I go back to being what I was," he said. She looked away. Days passed. Amma healed slowly. Physically first. Then emotionally. The pain faded to an ache. The ache to a memory. She was moved to a quieter residence. Smaller. Warmer. Less guarded. Kang Jun-suk visited less often. When he did, he never stayed long. He spoke to her like someone afraid of influencing her decision. That hurt more than control ever had. She walked again. She thought about her old apartment. Her job. Her quiet life. She thought about the fear. Then she thought about the safety. Not the luxury. Not the power. The choice. One evening, she found him standing on the balcony, city lights spread out below like a constellation he owned but did not enjoy. "You're leaving tomorrow," he said without turning. "Yes," she replied. Silence. "For good?" he asked. She stepped beside him. "I don't know," she said honestly. He nodded once. "That's fair." She leaned on the railing. "You didn't try to stop me," she said. "I promised I wouldn't," he replied. "That must be difficult," she said. "It is," he admitted. She looked at him then. Really looked. The dangerous man everyone feared. The calm leader. The protector who never begged. "I need to say something," she said. He turned to her. "If I walk away," she continued, "it won't be because I'm afraid of you. I know. It will be because loving someone in your world means never pretending it's safe." His expression tightened. "And if you stay?" he asked. "Then it means I'm choosing you," she said. "Not your protection. Not your power. You." The words hung between them. Heavy. Hopeful. Terrifying. "I won't cage you," he said quietly. "I wouldn't stay if you did," she replied. Another silence. Then she reached out. Took his hand. Just once. "I'm not ready to disappear into your world," she said. "But I'm not ready to pretend it didn't change me either." His fingers tightened slightly around hers. "Stay," he said. Not a command. Not a demand. A request. She met his gaze. "I will," she said. "On my terms." A slow breath left him. "Then I'll meet you there." Months later, Amma stood in her own apartment again. Different furniture. Different confidence. Kang Jun-suk no longer hovered in the shadows. He appeared when invited. Left when asked. The world was still dangerous. But it was honest. And so was the love they chose. Because sometimes fate doesn't come softly. Sometimes it arrives as a mistake. A wrong message. A wrong moment. And the courage to choose what comes next. If you stayed until the end, thank you for listening. Now tell me, what would you have done? Would you have taken the deal? Or walked away from a love wrapped in danger? If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe to Afrosiora Chronicles. 4 more binge-worthy romantic suspense stories that remind us how one choice can change everything.